Let me ask you a question. Why is it that some people seem to always be ahead financially, ahead mentally, ahead spiritually, while others feel like they're always catching up? Same 24 hours, same sun, same moon. The difference isn't talent. It's not luck. It's not intelligence. It's timing. Most people don't lose the day at night. They lose it in the morning, because the moment you wake up late, you surrender control of your life to whatever is urgent instead of what is important. When you wake up after the world is already moving, you don't lead your day. You react to it. Emails tell you what matters. Notifications decide your priorities. Other people's emergencies hijack your destiny. But when you wake up before the world does, something powerful happens. Silence becomes your advantage. No noise, no opinions, no distractions, just you and your future. Those early hours are sacred. They are not just time, they are leverage. This is when vision becomes clear. This is when strategy is formed. This is when ideas that change lives are born. Discipline in the morning creates authority in life. If you can tell yourself what time to wake up and actually do it, you're training yourself to keep promises to yourself. And someone who keeps promises to themselves eventually becomes unstoppable. See, success doesn't show up randomly. Success responds to preparation. Opportunities don't announce themselves, they reward the ready. And readiness is built when no one is watching. While others are asleep, you were investing in your mind. While others are dreaming, you're designing your reality. And here's the part most people miss. When you change your habits, you don't just change your schedule, you change your identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. You stop hoping for breakthroughs and start creating them. Because leaders don't chase time, they command it. They wake up before the world does. So when the world finally wakes up, they're already ahead. This habit didn't just change my mornings. It changed my mindset, my income, my confidence, my direction. And it can change everything for you too. So tonight, don't just go to sleep, make a decision. Tomorrow, wake up before the world does and watch how the world starts to follow you. One morning, I realized something painful. My dreams were waking up, but I wasn't while the world was sleeping. Opportunity was waiting. And every time I hit snooze, I delayed my future. Then I changed one habit. I started waking up before the world did. In the silence, I found clarity. In the darkness, I found direction. In discipline, I found belief in myself again. I stopped chasing time, and time started working for me. If you want a different life, don't wait for a different year. Wake up earlier and watch your life wake up with you. Most people lose the day before it even begins, not because they are lazy, but because they surrender control without realizing it. The moment they wake up late, the day is already deciding for them. The phone tells them what's urgent. Other people's priorities replace their own. They rush instead of reflect, react instead of create, survive instead of lead. By the time they ask themselves, what do I really want from today? The best hours are already gone. When you start your day in a hurry, your mind stays in a hurry. There's no space for vision, no room for strategy, no time to hear your own thoughts. The day becomes a series of interruptions instead of intentional actions. That's how dreams get postponed, goals get diluted, and potential gets buried under busyness. Losing the morning doesn't just cost you time, it costs you direction. And when you lose direction, you don't fail loudly. You drift quietly, day after day. Until one day you realize you've been busy your whole life, but rarely in control of it. Early hours are distraction-free and decision-rich because the world hasn't started pulling on you yet. There are no messages demanding attention, no noise competing for your focus, no outside voices telling you who to be or what to chase. In that quiet, your mind finally gets space to think clearly instead of defensively. You're not reacting to life, you're designing it. This is the time when the most important decisions rise to the surface, not rush decisions, but intentional ones. Decisions about direction, priorities, and purpose. In the early hours, you don't just decide what to do today, you decide who you are becoming. Clarity shows up because confusion feeds on noise and silence starves it. While others are asleep, you're making choices that compound. Small decisions made in calm moments turn into massive results over time. That's why the early hours are powerful. Not because they are early, but because they belong fully to you. Discipline in the morning builds authority in life, because the first battle you face every day is with yourself. When you wake up and do what you said you would do, especially when it's uncomfortable, you establish something powerful, self-trust. And self-trust becomes self-respect. When you can rely on yourself in the quiet hours, you stop looking for permission, validation, or motivation from the outside world. Every disciplined morning is a vote for the person you are becoming. You're teaching your mind that excuses don't run your life, decisions do. That internal authority begins to show up everywhere else. Your words carry more weight. Your presence feels more grounded. People sense when someone is in control of themselves, because self-mastery is visible even when it's not spoken. Authority isn't loud. It's not forceful. It's calm confidence, born from consistency. When you conquer the morning, you stop negotiating with weakness throughout the day. You move with intention instead of impulse. And over time, that private discipline transforms into public influence, because those who command themselves eventually command respect, opportunities, and direction in life. Success favors those who prepare before pressure arrives, because pressure doesn't create greatness, it exposes it. When the moment comes, you don't rise to the level of your hopes, you fall to the level of your preparation. The world applauds what looks like sudden success, but what it's really witnessing is hidden discipline showing up on a public stage. Preparation happens when there is no applause, no urgency, and no guarantee of reward. It happens in the early hours, in the quiet decisions, in the repeated actions that feel insignificant at the time. While others wait for motivation or the perfect moment, the prepared are building capacity. They are sharpening skills, strengthening mindset, and aligning their habits with the future they claim they want. Pressure doesn't warn you before it shows up. Opportunity doesn't wait until you feel ready. When the call comes, when the door opens, when the moment demands more than comfort, only preparation answers. That's why those who prepare early move with calm when others panic. They don't scramble, they step forward. And in that moment, success doesn't choose randomly. It recognizes the one who has been getting ready long before the world was watching. Your identity changes when your habits change, because identity is not built by what you claim. It's built by what you repeatedly do. Every habit is a message you send to yourself about who you are. When you keep the same habits, you keep the same self-image, even if you say you want more. But the moment your actions change consistently, your inner dialogue begins to change with them. At first, it feels uncomfortable because you are stepping into a version of yourself your mind is not yet familiar with. Old habits try to pull you back because they protect the identity you've lived with for years. But each time you choose discipline over comfort, effort over excuse, you weaken the old identity and strengthen a new one. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who follows through. This shift is powerful because confidence stops being something you search for and becomes something you experience. You don't have to convince yourself you are capable. You have evidence. Your habits become proof. Over time, the way you speak, decide, and carry yourself changes. You no longer act like the person you used to be, not because you're pretending, but because you're no longer the same. When habits evolve, identity follows. And once identity changes, your entire life begins to move in a new direction. When you wake up before the world, you lead the world, because leadership is born in solitude long before it's seen in public. In those early hours, you are no longer being shaped by noise, opinions, or urgency. You are shaping yourself. While the world is still asleep, you are deciding what matters, what doesn't, and who you refuse to become. That clarity becomes your compass when the day gets loud. Waking up early is not about time. It's about position. You place yourself ahead mentally, emotionally, and strategically. You're no longer reacting to situations, you're anticipating them. And the person who anticipates doesn't panic. They move with calm, intention, and confidence. That's what leadership looks like. Not control over others, be you. Command over direction. By the time the world wakes up, you've already invested in your mind, strengthened your discipline, and aligned your actions with purpose. People feel that presence. They trust it. They follow it. Because those who lead the world don't wait for permission, perfect conditions, or external validation. They wake up early, prepare quietly, and step into the day already ahead, while everyone else is still trying to catch up. So this is not just about waking up early, It's about waking up intentionally, because the way you start your day is the way you start your life. When you rise before the world, you reclaim time, clarity, and control. You stop drifting. You start deciding. You stop reacting. You start leading. Small habits, practiced in silence, create loud results. And one disciplined morning, repeated daily, can rewrite your identity, your confidence, and your future. The world doesn't need more people who wake up late and follow the noise. It needs people who wake up early and set the direction. So tomorrow morning, don't just open your eyes, open your purpose. Wake up before the world does and become the reason it changes.